Welcome back to another episode of Void City Reviews. I am Dan.
I'm Toast.
And today we are going to be looking at the entire wave of McFarlane Toys, DC Multiverse, Arkham City, Batman, Build-A-Figure, Solomon Grundy. Guys, that dude. Yep, big zombie Hulk man. Lives in the sewers and speaks only one poem. He was born on Monday, apparently. Monday? I always wondered about that. Like, does he have an accent where he would say Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday? Or do he say, like, Solomon Grundy?
I wonder if that's his real name. Grundy.
We've just been saying it wrong this whole time. Man, it's Thanos all over again. Darn it. Oh, well.
Anyways, crack these open.
Yep, we got Penguin, Catwoman, R'as Al Ghul, and Batman.
Of course.
And together, with their powers combined, they form up Solomon Grundy. So let's take a look, and then we'll put Solomon together. We haven't actually done that yet. We're going to do that with you guys, see how it works. It looks like it should work better than a lot of the other Build-A-Figures, but we'll find out. Let's get to it. So here they are, the Arkham City McFarlane Toys Build-A-Figure Wave. These are the 4 figures without the Build-A-Figure parts. We're going to go over them first. Toast, you had some thoughts right off the bat that you wanted to...
Right. And my problem with these 4, so I did not buy these, is proportions. And I didn't really like the proportions in the video game, especially Batman. I always thought he had a giant chest and a small head, and it's still true here.
Short legs.
However, I think R'as actually looks great on his own proportionally. I'll get to his head later. However, talking about heads, if we compare head sizes, 2 of them are tiny and 2 of them are kind of regular and fit their body.
I would agree with that. I was just noticing when we were setting this shot up that Catwoman on camera, for whatever reason, looks more weird than she does in real life, although she does look kind of weird in real life. But on camera here, her head looks like extra super tiny. And it doesn't help that the bottom half of this figure feels like it's in the Spawn proportions, and the top half feels like it's in the DC Multiverse proportions. It almost feels like 2 figures of the same character in a different size were stuck together at the waist. Well, and we'll get to that.
Look at even just this. So her crotch is higher, but her head is lower. Like, what is happening with this body?
The crotch, she does have heels. So maybe that could be a thing. Although I still don't know in what universe Selina Kyle is the same height as Bruce Wayne. That's just kind of strange. There has been a few McFarlane figures recently where the legs have been noticeably ginormous. There's that Gladiator Superman figure.
Yes.
There's Superwoman. Her legs are humongous.
I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah, they look better on her than they do on Catwoman here, but they are huge. But yeah, Batman does look, for whatever reason, in this version of the figure, a little more squat. I don't know how else to put it. Like, I think it's just because he has such huge gauntlets and huge boots, and it just makes him look all big and boxy.
Well, that was the other thing in the game, is his gauntlets were just huge.
Oh, yeah. Just ginormous.
It's like he's wearing those wrist weights.
Yeah, he basically is. I mean, those things have to be like 30 pounds each. They're full-on computers in his arm.
So surprisingly, I think R'as looks great and Penguin looks great.
Yeah, Penguin does look a lot better than I thought he would. R'as looks fantastic. I've been waiting for a R'as figure for a long time. I don't mind that it's the game version because he looks pretty cool. We'll get to Catwoman.
But we should take a closer look at each of these.
Yeah, let's just jump right in here and look at each one close up here. Well, here is Batman by himself. This is Batman as he looked in Arkham City. It's very similar to the Arkham Asylum figure. A couple of details are a little bit different, but the suit itself is pretty similar. The logo on the chest is a little different. The gloves are a little bit different. The gauntlets are pretty similar. Still just gigantic and strange looking. Same with his boots. But otherwise, pretty similar figure. I think my favorite part about it so far has to be the head sculpt. It's the nicest, in my opinion, of the 3 Arkham figure head sculpts. I used to like the Arkham Knight one a lot, but this one had like perfectly fine ears straight out of the package. And that has never happened before with an Arkham figure for me, and I've bought like 6 of them. And he's got the white eyes this time for detective vision. That's pretty cool looking.
The white eyes really pop.
Yeah. Otherwise, I think that's a really nice looking head. The cape is very similar to the Arkham Asylum cape. However, it does have a cool fold in the back of it. That's kind of nice. It makes it look more dynamic. even though it's just a floppy rubber cape. His articulation is pretty standard. It's the same as the other Arkham figure.
Well, what I like about this, and it's not true for every McFarlane figure, but I think they might be getting better, is his arms can actually go down to his sides. They're not stuck out at an angle. That's nice.
Yeah, that doesn't happen often, especially in a lot of the more recent figures. They kind of, like Superman and whatnot, they just kind of stick out at the sides a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
sometimes they're like that, and that's as low as they go. But this, and it all has to do with the shoulder and how it pegs into the chest, but I like this. I appreciate it.
Me too. That does add a lot more range of movement.
I do also like the silver on the knuckles.
Yeah, that is a nice highlight.
It's a tiny amount of paint, but it pops. It draws the eye.
It does. Just like the white eyes, which really do pop on this guy. I like it a lot. I wish he was a little dirtier, like I do with all the McFarlane figures. A lot of detail on the belt and also in the suit on the sides here could be more visible, I think, with that. Plus, he does get pretty dirty and banged up pretty quickly in these games.
That's true.
However, I guess that's what the Walmart exclusive versions are. They're black and white, but they all have kind of like some little bruises and blood stains that are in color on them.
Oh, do they?
At least in all the photographs they do. And that's kind of how he made them look in the pictures and in the, the promo shots of him. So, like Batman has like a big bruise on the side of his face a little bit and like some kind of blood stuff. Like, it's like, okay, that's whatever, I guess. That's cool. But maybe they don't. I don't know. Let us know. I haven't seen them yet. And they're Walmart exclusives, which means I never will see them because we don't get that stuff out here in Illinois.
Which seems weird.
It's
like a major distribution.
And I've gone to like every Walmart in a 20-mile radius, and none of them get these things, like ever. The only one we've ever seen is Parallax. And they got like
huge population center.
Yeah.
And somehow it is a toy desert.
Yes, it is.
Makes no sense.
It is no fun trying to find toys out here. I like the head sculpt on this guy. The more I see it, I'm gonna have to get a couple of these for some custom things, I think. I do like those gloves a lot. Boots are pretty standard Arkham boots. And he's got his grapnel gun right there from the Arkham games. That's the accessory he came with.
Lone accessory?
Yes. No batarangs, no other things like that this time around. The other Arkham figures came with more things, but this guy came with some Solomon Grundy legs or arms or whatever he comes with. I think he came with the legs. So that's why you don't get as many accessories. But you do get an accessory and a Build-A-Figure piece for an extra $5, so that's pretty awesome. I think, at least. Whatever. Here is Oswald Cobblepot, the Penguin himself. Toast, you want to go over this little guy here? He looks pretty cool to me.
So this is the one I was considering getting until I got a close look at him today by opening the box. But I thought he might slide into a comic display pretty well. And he's got, I think, if you do want to do that, at least in my opinion, I think you would want a different head. Because I don't like the gritting teeth. And he's got like a voice box thing in his neck.
Yeah, I'd have to play the game again because I don't quite remember that. I don't remember him having a voice box. He just had like a Scottish accent, sort of.
Well, the bottle cap monocle was a nice touch.
Yeah.
I like that from the game.
That was pretty cool.
And yeah, I never noticed a silver lump on his neck.
Yeah.
Maybe it was there, and I just missed it.
I don't know why he would need it, but whatever.
But I like the body. I think the sculpt proportions, I think all of it's quite nice. It's just I'm not a fan of the head so much.
Which is sad because it looks to me like it looks like the Penguin. Yeah. It's just that expression would be nice for like an alternate head maybe. And maybe like another one with like a more neutral expression and a regular monocle for like a comic looking version. But
that would be nice.
Either way, you get a nice hat that comes with him. That's kind of cool. It doesn't come off, but if you're a customizer, you can take it off.
Right.
And use it for someone else.
You can actually take the hat off, get an alternate head, and then put the hat back on.
Yeah. I do like that his vest underneath is a different color than the jacket. Like it's kind of a dark green, brown, possibly, looks like.
Yeah.
And he's got like the Fred from Scooby-Doo ascot going on there underneath. That's kind of cool.
Oh, this is our color blindness test. What color is that? I think it's green. The vest.
The vest? I think it's green also, but I could see if someone said it was brown. But it does look to me like a dark forest green.
And the pants are dark, but I'm calling that purple.
I'd go with a dark blue or purple. Like a dark navy blue, but maybe a purple. He does have the wrapping on his hand here, which sort of gives him like a flipper sort of looking hand, kind of like Danny DeVito's penguin. That's the same color as his ascot, so I don't know what's going on there. They're saving some money on that.
You like the shoes.
Oh, yeah. He does have some nice dress shoes that are already painted, and they are decent proportions. A lot of the dress shoes on these figures are huge or tiny. So I'm looking at you, Fortnite figures, humongous feet, much. But these are pretty nice. I could see using this for other characters as well.
I'd say that he has standard articulation, but the legs don't get quite as much movement. They do run into the crotch piece even before the coat, so it does limit some forward especially, but out to the sides as well.
Yeah, it's just with the coat and just the overall egg shape of his body, it does limit a lot of his movement somewhat. But I mean, he has enough to do what you need him to do, I think, at least.
Most penguin activities.
Yeah, which is basically just waddling around and going wah, wah, wah. And he can do that. That's fine. Holding an umbrella.
He could do that with an umbrella.
Yeah, because he does have an umbrella.
So I haven't put this in his hand yet.
I have not either. I'll show you that first. It has a nice little penguin handle on there that, like most McFarlane accessories nowadays, other than swords, is humongously thick. It looks so thick, in fact, that I was convinced when I got this you'd be able to take the handle out of there and there'd be like a blade on the end of it or something. But no, it's just all one bendy piece. It's kind of bent because of the way it was in the package. That's why it's sort of like that. Let's see if it fits in his hand. There he is with his umbrella in his hand. It actually does fit pretty well. His hand is flexible, so you can get it in there without worrying about it like breaking or anything like that. So that's kind of nice.
I think it looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, once it's in the hand, then the handle doesn't look so thick.
That's true. It kind of hides it some.
The umbrella itself seems proportionate.
Yeah.
And looks good.
I kind of want another one now for my Colin Farrell penguin.
Overall, I like this. It's not the ideal penguin head that I'm after.
Well, you could always check eBay.
Yeah. I'm trying to work my way through some customs now before I add anything else to the list.
Well, here is Selina Kyle, Catwoman herself, and unfortunately, I think the proportions, as goofy as they look, are pretty accurate to that game, because that game disproportioned the females almost worse than the male characters, and it was for all the fan service, gratuitous reasons you would expect. But like we were mentioning earlier, this does feel like a figure that has two different scales. The bottom half feels like it's one size, which is closer to the Spawn figures, which are like 7.5 or 8 inches tall. And the top half feels like a normal DC Multiverse figure size that could fit in with, like the other Catwoman figure from the movie possibly, or possibly some of the other female characters that aren't Wonder Woman. Yeah, so check this out.
It's huge.
It's ginormous. By that I mean this thing right here, like, it's ridiculous. Like, butts are cool, but man, like, that's scale them correctly. Like that piece was made for a figure bigger than this should have needed, but it just kind of makes the figure look a little goofy, and it kind of stinks for like the first, well, not the first Catwoman figure, but the first slightly more traditional looking Catwoman figure, possibly.
Yeah,
especially with having the mask and the helmet. I really like the head. Like you were saying, you might take the head off and put it on the other Catwoman figure to see how it looks.
So I really don't like this figure. But
tell us how you really feel, Toast.
I am planning to buy it whenever it goes on sale, because I want to try this head on the movie Catwoman body. I think it might work better than either of those figures on their own.
It would be interesting to do some mix and match. Maybe switch the hands out, because the hands on this are pretty cool. There's the painted little cats on the knuckles, the pointy fingers. So you got the claw scratch hand there. You got the whip holding hand over there. Even the thumb knuckles painted. One real cool thing I noticed was their cat locket around her neck. That's nice. It's very tiny, and I like that it's painted. Yeah, it's a good face.
It is a good face. It's a great head on the wrong figure.
If you go like this figure looks awesome. But then you go like this, and it's like, oh no.
Oh no is right.
So.
And you don't think she'll be able to stand without the stand?
I did get her to stand, but pretty much just like in this position, and it's a little difficult combined with the. I don't know how I feel about the new ankles on the McFarlane figures, not being just the ball and now being shaped like ankles. I think it limits their movement even more. I never really found the other ones to be very limited. I know some people online find them to be very limited. I don't know. I think they just don't know how to swivel a foot correctly. But these ones, because of how they're shaped, they have to be sort of in certain directions to look right, and they look very wrong if they're not. Whereas if it's just a circle, just a sphere, any direction you face it's going to look the same, so it's going to look fine. I don't know. Plus, I feel like these things then, because of the way they bend, they can only be in certain directions, which limits your posability.
I think some of the ankle complaints might be coming from Marvel Legends fans, and I could say a lot about Marvel Legends, but their ankles are impressive.
They are nice,
and
I'll admit it.
These have detents that aren't always where they need to be.
Yeah, they're not lined up with standing a human upright or in any position that would not result from a broken or sprained or dislocated foot.
They're not always lined up so that the foot lies flat on the ground.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say.
So, ankles in general, I think ankles and body proportions are my two biggest problems with McFarlane.
Yeah.
But generally proportions even more than ankles.
She does have one hand that can hold this, which is her whip, which, you can't really have a Catwoman figure without the whip. You gotta have that. It has a gigantic handle, just like Penguin's umbrella.
I'm hoping that looks better once it's in her hand.
So there it is in her hand. Looks all right. You kind of see what I was meaning about the broken ankle thing going on there, though. That just looks...
yeah, it's not great.
God awful. I don't like that so much. But the whip fits in her hand. Again, hand is flexible. Just be careful. It's very tiny. I don't know. The handle still looks a little big to me. But not as terrible, but still it looks like a giant like dynamite or something, and not necessarily something that a stealth robbing person would begin with. And I just noticed this fun thing. So when you pose her, it just kind of rips her whole groin open, and you can see up into her guts there. So beware of that. That's horrendous. And here he is. This is Toast's favorite figure of the set, and I think it's mine as well. Although keep in mind we haven't built Solomon yet. But this guy is pretty awesome looking. This is the first one I actually saw at the store at Target, and I was just happy to have a R'as Al Ghul, so I grabbed him. And I thought it looks pretty cool.
I do like him. I'm not the biggest fan of the head, and I don't know how much of that is the hair and how much is the head sculpt.
Oh, you don't like his Wolverine hair?
Not super.
I think it's kind of supposed to look like wind is blowing him, maybe. Maybe Lazarus pits have a hair gel type quality to them. Maybe.
Or he's just standing in front of an industrial fan.
Yes. But he's pretty cool looking. Got kind of a neat looking texture on the pants. Awesome dragon design on the chest armor there. That's pretty cool. Or maybe it's a demon head. I don't know what it's supposed to be. I guess that's what his name is. So maybe it's a demon head. Cool belt buckle.
But he does have dragon tattoo on the arm.
Yeah. Both arms. They're kind of like the WWE basic figures where they're just the line art of a tattoo printed on there.
But I need to comment on the mildly painted pin and how much I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah. Just like the AEW figures had. The pin does have it printed right on there, which is...
I've been talking about painted pins for a long time on the other channel.
Yeah, and so to see a painted pin on McFarlane, but not only that, painted with the details of a surrounding tattoo, that's kind of surprising. I was thrilled to see that.
I appreciate it.
The belt details are painted all the way around. That's pretty cool. Shoulder details on there, a little gold trim. He's got the gray on his hair, some dark circles around his eyes. He kind of does have like Wolverine face going on there a little bit, but whatever. I think the goatee right around his mouth could have been painted a little bit better. But, that's just being nitpicky. It wasn't overpainted, and I'd rather it be a little underpainted than go over the edges and be sloppy like that. So, what does R'as Al Ghul come with?
He comes with, as you might expect, a sword.
It's got some writing on the blade. Neither of us knows what that means, but I'll try to translate that later and put the translation on here if that is a real writing. I'm not sure.
Probably.
My guess would be it has something to do with demon head.
Handle looks good and well proportioned, not like it's overly large.
Indeed, looks like an actual sword handle maybe that could fit in a real human hand.
I am surprised by the hole going through it.
Yeah, the hole in the handle of the sword made me think we're missing a piece of it, like there should have been the rope coming out of it, like a crouching tiger, hidden dragon style little tassel on the end of it.
Maybe.
So, customizers out there. Here he is with his sword. Fits in his hand just fine. And looks good.
Still looks good.
Yep, painted and everything. I like it. So that's cool. There's nowhere to put the sword on him, like no sheath or anything. You can't hang it on his belt, but you might be able to put a custom tassel on. That's cool.
Similar to Batman, you can get his arms down to the side, which again, I appreciate.
However, aiming them straight up will be a little bit difficult because of his armor.
Right.
Similar to Batman as well, who has the cape in the way on that figure. I don't know, should we get to trying to put old Solomon together?
Yeah.
Cool, let's do that.
So we're going to start with the torso and just put the jacket on there.
And you had remarked that the torso is very light. It's quite hollow, kind of like the Clayface figure, if any of you guys are familiar with that one.
Right, but there is a lot of nice detail on here that we're about to cover up.
Yeah, that's kind of the only thing that stinks is he is very nice textured on the back. And is there paint on the front of him?
It's minor, but there's some green.
Yeah, there's a green.
Is that a nipple? Maybe not.
I'm hoping it's like a clamp. A nipple clamp? I don't know. It's something.
The jacket does also look nice.
Very well textured. It's, again, one thing McFarlane seems to do very well is get cloth textures. So popping the arms in, very standard McFarlane action figure. Shoulder connections there. Did he have butterflies? Or no, because of the jacket?
He didn't have that circular insert.
Okay, so no armpits in there.
No. Arms are single jointed, which is standard for his larger figures.
And no bicep swivel. Do they swivel at the elbow? Is there anywhere, or is it just... Oh, they do. Okay, so they do have a lower bicep swivel. Nice.
I hope these legs work.
Feels like that popped right in.
So
he did the connection the way all the figures actually do connect, but he put the connecting point for us in a good spot and not in a dumb place like it was for Bane. It's actually connected where it should.
Frost King was difficult as well. So yeah, this goes in easier. I think I was putting extra effort into it just because of
we were expecting from the past, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of these figures, you end up pressing so hard you think your hand might have some broken bones in it afterwards. And there we have him, Zombie Hulk.
I like this better than I thought I would. And I guess the one problem I might have is he's not as large as he is in the game. He's pretty hulking as far as overall mass, but he's not as tall as I expected.
Yeah, that is true. I did think he would be taller, so when we were taking the pieces out, I was kind of surprised. I think his waist is too short. Like his midsection area, like this whole part, it seems like that should be a little bit taller. Like he seems like he kind of is very truncated. But again, it's the Arkham proportions, so maybe that's normal. What's going on with this? So the pegs on the inside of his leg looks kind of weird how it's sort of sticking out there. It does it on the outside of this leg. So that might be something where if I heat these up, I could push those pegs in and center them a little bit better. I think they're just not centered very well inside the leg.
What I find mildly strange is his toes are a different color than the rest of his foot.
Oh, they are.
But
they're like skin colored, and the rest of his skin is gray.
His toe articulation, which, again, I appreciate.
Is that implying that he's just like walking around in muck and that's supposed to be like mud on his feet maybe or something? I don't know. That is kind of strange. It's not like the toes are a different piece because the other part of that piece is still his skin and it's gray.
But we do get some green throughout.
Seems everywhere the piece of him was stitched on all Frankenstein style.
I'm sure people will replace these chains or at least paint them.
Yeah.
Maybe paint the stitching as well.
I think that's supposed to be rusty metal, but I think it went a little too pink on it, like a little too pinkish orange. I get the orange color from the rust, but I think they should have done more like a brown with a reddish orange than that pink. That's a little strange.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the head is awesome. I really like that head sculpt on there.
It is great. And when I was putting it together, I thought that the head might be a little small, and I might be okay with it.
But that's also in comics part of how you make someone look bigger. If his head was bigger, he wouldn't look as buff. And it also would not tell you his scale. Like, that's, I think, one of the ways they keep scale in comics when someone bodies are so different sizes, at least all the heads are the same size. Because unless you take the Flintstones vitamins that Sammy Sosa took, your head usually doesn't grow in size if the rest of you does from muscles. So it kind of does imply maybe at one point he could have been a human and just somehow the rest of them got huge.
He looks good. Better, honestly, than I thought he was going to.
Let's take a look at him next to another bigger action figure. Here he is with my custom Doomsday figure that was made from a Devastator. They're a lot closer in size than I would have thought, actually, now that I look at them closer. Either way, I think it looks pretty awesome. He'll look good with your other bigger action figures on the shelf. He's a pretty nice Build-A-Figure. Went together very easily and doesn't seem like he will fall apart.
It's the best experience I've had with Build-A-Figure from McFarlane.
It's the best experience I've had watching you put one of them together because typically I kind of watch through my fingers and wait to hear snapping noises of either the plastic or you throwing it across the room because it won't go together, right? Bane. Frost King.
Frost King.
Oh, well.
So here the whole wave is together, and collectively, I think they look pretty good.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice Build-A-Figure wave, and it's nice that they're all from the same game, from the same series, and it's just nice to have more characters from that game in general. Now that we have these guys, though, give us a Mr. Freeze Mega Figure, please.
Mr. Freeze, yes.
I know there's a Mr. Freeze coming from the comics, but I want Arkham Mr. Freeze specifically.
There were many characters worked into the Arkham series. It would be nice to get more of them.
It would. Maybe a Gordon. That'd be cool.
A Gordon at all would be nice, yes.
Possibly maybe the team of the Bat family from that game series instead of the Gotham Knights abomination of a game and TV show and just thing in general.
Please.
A way to take 4 awesome characters and just poo-poo all over them. Well, thank you for watching today as we went over those Arkham City figures. We hope you enjoyed that video and learned a couple of things about these guys so you can make a decision if you want them or not. Remember to like and subscribe as always and hit that bell to get the notifications when we do more reviews or more custom videos or when Toast has all his comic videos. They come out twice a week, every week. He hasn't missed one yet. So
surprisingly.
Yeah, stick with it here. This guy knows how to keep videos coming. So until next time, I am Dan.
Drop a comment. I'm Toast.
Yes.
That's one thing you forgot.
That's true. Never forget to comment, guys. Never forget.
We like comments.
We do, and we respond to them pretty quickly usually.
Yes.
Indeedy.
You're fast.
So, yeah. Well, they go to my phone. Gotta engage with the audience.
We do.
Indeed. Anyways, we will see you next time.